Hello, I'm Fox Fairy, and welcome to my channel. Here I talk about all my favorite interests and hyperfixations, including discourse and politics, as well as many other things that I might have time to get into in the future. I hope you enjoy the video. Hello, so today I'm going to be talking about misandrogyny and the issue with non-binary men and non-binary women. First off, what is misandrogyny? Misandrogyny is the systems of oppression and attitudes that directly or indirectly oppress those who are not binary. A binary person is anyone who can fall under the category of a man or a woman. A binary person can adhere or not adhere to gender roles, and this does not change the fact that they are binary. What is non-binary? Someone who cannot fit into the category of man or woman is non-binary. Because these terms are mutually exclusive and contradictory, they are the gender equivalents to the sexes male and female, and thus non-binary transition is one that doesn't fall into the category of trans male or trans female in terms of identified anatomy. Someone who is binary might call themselves non-binary for a variety of reasons, but if they can easily fall into the category of a man or a woman, they are not. To be non-binary is to not be either of these things. Non-binary people are the entirety of the spectrum between male and female, including not at all either of those things or some mixture of them. Non-binary people have a very specific set of experiences and disadvantages that binary people do not. That doesn't change depending on which label you use to associate yourself with. Non-binary people are not catered to in the functions of society, and they are often left out due to the lack of understanding or care for those who are not male or female. Those, including binary trans people who feel comfortable in a binary-centered and or binary-designed space, do not experience any of these struggles. Non-binary people are not recognized in a vast part of the legal world. Those who still identify as a binary gender like man or woman are not disadvantaged by this at all because they can claim male or female status. Even many binary trans people are not affected by these issues. Non-binary people have the social struggle of having difficulty being perceived as their true internal experience, which is not nearly as big of an issue for those who claim binary identifications like man or woman. Trans men and women can strive to be perceived as such by altering their appearance, but this is not nearly as much of an effective process for those who do not fall into the gender binary. Binary people claiming the non-binary label trivializes these experiences that they do not and will never have. It's a part of a larger system of misandrogyny. By doing this, you are claiming that these struggles are not non-binary struggles, and fighting against them is not an inherent part of non-binary rights activism, regardless of whether you genuinely feel that way or not. Non-binary men and non-binary women. Identifying as a binary gender makes you binary. Being binary is the opposite of being non-binary. Adding man or woman as an addition to the term non-binary makes the non-binary part completely and entirely, wholly meaningless in that context. It devalues the term, making it mean absolutely nothing. It is the exact same thing as saying anti-theist Christian or white shade of black. It's an oxymoron. And in order for one of these things to apply, the other has to not apply. To be non-binary is to be not binary. That is its literal definition. To be a man or a woman is to be binary. That is its literal definition. Being non-binary is the opposite of being either a man or a woman. By creating an oxymoronic identity label that you then perpetuate and defend, you are devaluing the legitimacy of the non-binary experience. It contributes to the systems of oppression targeting non-binary people by insinuating that non-binariness is a political identity or some kind of choice. This is a proponent of conversion abuse tactics that has existed for years. Binary trans people, please stop calling yourself non-binary. If you intend to transition to a binary body that is male or female, you should not claim the label non-binary. Non-binary transition is a very complex topic that comes with several struggles that binary people do not have to go through in order to affirm their gender identity. Many non-binary people need to go through a special hormone therapy that is fine-tailored to give them the highest chances of getting the results that they feel they need. This isn't even always effective, and sometimes the changes they wish to prevent will come anyway. Many non-binary people have to go through experimental hormone therapy processes like the use of SERMs, selective estrogen receptor modules, in order to achieve their goals. And again, these aren't always available on the market, and they won't get diagnosed by every therapist. Non-binary bottom surgeries such as salmation surgery and nullification surgery are not easily accessible as binary ones are, such as complete vaginoplasties or phalloplasties. It's just not in the books for some of us. There are so little surgeons that offer them, and when they do, oftentimes it's not covered by insurance or other means. Even with all of this being said, it's very difficult for non-binary people like myself to find examples and stories and experiences from other people talking about non-binary surgeries or treatments. If you're a binary person claiming the non-binary label and you title your videos which talk about your surgeries and treatments as non-binary surgeries or non-binary treatments when really they are binary surgeries or treatments, then please don't, because that is really misleading, and when we're looking for resources, are looking for resources specifically for non-binary specific transition. That's what we're looking for. A lot of us, especially when we're younger and coming out to ourselves and trying to learn more about our bodies and what options are available for us, we don't want to see a bunch of binary options. We already know what options are available for binary trans people and binary transitions. We just want to see what is available for non-binary transitions. Non-binary transitions, those which are not your typical MTF or FTM transition, are not treated equally by insurance companies or healthcare professionals. We may not have the same access that you do. By claiming the non-binary label, you are devaluing these experiences, especially when you identify wholly and completely with a male or female body. That isn't to say that some non-binary people will transition to a male or female body for other reasons. This doesn't apply to you. This applies to those who genuinely consider themselves a trans man or trans woman, or MTF or FTM. You clearly view yourself as male or female, in which case you got those treatments because you felt that they were the most accurate to how you feel. No other reasons involved. That's just not what we're going through. That's not what being non-binary is. It's falling outside of those categories, not transitioning to another one. Non-binary is not a political identity. Non-binary people are not breaking gender roles or gender norms. We are simply existing in a way that is most comfortable and most authentic to us. We are not men or women. We are non-binary. That is what it means to be non-binary. Full stop. Claiming non-binary identity as a political identity is insinuating that our most natural internal processes are to you some attack at gender roles or oppressive systems. All you're doing is causing us to be harmed by your use of our identity to attack these systems. Call yourself gender non-conforming because that is what you are. Gender non-conforming people are those who do not conform to gender roles for whatever reason. That is what being gender non-conforming is. That is not what being non-binary is. That is what you would be, gender non-conforming. It is misandrogynistic to imply that we are making some sort of active choice to be non-binary in the first place. It's even more so to spread that idea avidly while insisting we are an activist group, pushing against social norms and roles. That's really shitty. You don't know what it's like to go through the struggles that non-binary people go through. Those who have the privilege to label themselves a non-binary man or a non-binary woman are existing with binary privilege, and they refuse to acknowledge it. Such attitudes are not going to lead to any increase in rights for non-binary people or the non-binary community as a whole. It's only going to make things worse for us. Not for any reason regarding our perception by the outward community, but because of the misinformation that you spread about who and what we are. It's terrible, and people should really stop. We need to spread proper and correct information about our community, about what it means to be non-binary, about the struggles that we go through, about the good things that we go through as well. But we also need to recognize that some people are just not non-binary, and we should enforce that. Not meaning that we should go bug people, obviously. Some binary people are just going to call themselves non-binary, and there's nothing we can do to stop them. But it's important that we also spread information in counter to that, because I feel like if we were more vocal about what being non-binary actually is, it would be less of an issue. Anyway, if you like my content and would like to see more, please check out my channel. I have more stuff up there if you'd like to check it out. I have a link tree in the comment section that has my Discord channel, my Instagram, my new Discord server, and my subreddit. And I'm so sorry for not posting as much recently. I've recently been working on a project for a podcast that I've been working on with a couple of my online mutuals, and I will keep you guys informed about that in the future. Alright, love you. Bye.